Mr. Sriram, thank you so much for coming on and having this conversation. On behalf of all the prospective students, a very warm welcome.
Thank you, sir. Nice to be a part of this exercise.
So you're a successful professional chartered accountant. So I wanted to ask you to rewind back to the time when you were a student. What made you choose chartered accountancy as your career path?
Okay. So, I passed out CA in 2007. And when I was doing the decision to do CA is something which was taken typically in my case or in any other student's case. The decision to do CA is taken when a student clears class 10 and then he joins class 11. So that's when we decide to choose whether to be between the science group or the commerce group. So we picked up commerce because at that time it was a trend that people normally they clear their class 10 and then move to science group, and then the requirement for engineering graduates were so high that there was a trend to do BE by default. So wherein I was kind of meeting many people, and of course my father was the one who motivated me to do this, and then based on which we understood that this course has got a lot of potential. No doubt even now this course has got a lot of potential. So that's the reason why I stepped into CA or I stepped into commerce group. But frankly speaking, it's the fact that when I joined 11th standard commerce group, or even when I started doing CA, I did not have too much idea about this course. The more and more we get into this course, we get that's the reality. Like we know that there is someone called a chartered accountant. That's what all that we know. But once we register, we get to know the subjects, we get to meet people. That's when we get more interested and attracted by this course. So to answer your question straight, the source of inspiration is my parents. It's from my parents that I took this course.
Excellent. That's good to know, man. And can you tell us through your professional journey? So now that you've passed CA exam successfully, and just walk us through from your first job to your current one.
Okay. Now, typically a life of CA, when we start talking. Now, it is very easy to clear CA. The real difficulty comes when we clear CA. So until we clear CA, it's like we need to study the subjects and then we need to aim for 50 marks, and that's what all that we are talking about. We know what is the game that we are going to play. The first confusion came when I cleared CA is what should I do next? So that's where I bumped upon. So there were a lot of opportunities, and literally there were a lot of opportunities, and each opportunity was very interesting. And there is an advantage in one opportunity, and there are plus and minuses in every opportunity. So it was the time that we had to decide that what path I have to choose. So that's what every student or every fresher who passed out CA experiences, and I'm not an exception to this. I experienced it. So then I decided that I want to go abroad. So I left and then I went abroad. I worked there for some time, and then I came down. And then after settling down in India, I took equity research as one of my area of work, employment. I was there, and gradually from there I moved on to practice. So it is like, but then over a period of time, we need to recalibrate ourselves and we need to be dynamic, not to get stuck with any one area. So I think that I have been doing it. There is no like one career option. There are multiple career options within CA, and every 2 years once or 3 years once, we need to keep revisiting ourselves, and then we need to see whether we are in the right direction or not. And if there is any course correction required, yes, we need to correct the course. But everything depends on what is our strength. What is our strength? What is our interest? Are we in that line or not? All those things are something which we need to keep checking, and that's what I have.
Very good, sir. There is a perception among students that CA exam is very tough, and that keeps them away from even pursuing this line. Your advice?
Okay. Now, let us talk about before talking about exams, let us talk about the responsibilities that this position will carry. A chartered accountant, as such, he takes a very good role in the company. He's in a mid-level management or in the top-level management. when he does practice, now all the banks, income tax authorities, everyone blindly relies on the signature that he makes. That is the power of the signature that a chartered accountant does. So when all these things, all these responsibilities are there, it is very clear that he need to be tested. And the people who are given that role are those people who are really qualified. So I think the institute is correct, or the present examination system is correct in keeping the level of difficulty that is adequate for the purpose of this in line with the professional requirement and in line with the responsibility of that person. Having said this, examinations are not that difficult. To be very frank, examinations are not that difficult. It is a fact that we don't have a college system for CA. I'll put it this way: we don't have any college for CA. It is like through classes that people get to know, and they learn, they study on their own, and then they practice on their own, and then they write their exams. For 12 years, from first standard to 12th standard, a student is prepared in a different way. His methodology of preparation is different. He goes to quarterly exams. He attends half-yearly exams. He attends school 6 hours a day. So, like, that's what I have been trained for 12 years. Suddenly, on the 13th year, you change the methodology, and then you say you have classes limited, you have to practice on your own, and you have to write the exam on your own. The acceptance was a bit difficult among the students' community. Now, of course, yes, now there are a lot of education institutions which have come up, and there are a lot of classes which are happening more regularly, just mimicking the school or college environment. So to this extent, we can see that the pass percentage is also increasing, improving rather. And the difficulty in the exam is primarily because of lack of practice. With adequate practice, people can crack the exams.
Got it. Now, you have a ringside view of the students preparing. What, in your opinion, are some of the mistakes that the students do that they should avoid?
Okay. So what are all the mistakes that the students do which they have to avoid? See, the first thing is that let us go to basics. By reading something only once, our mind cannot remember. So that's a reality. So what we need to do is we have to read something once, and then we have to revise it consciously 3 times. There is a difference between I know something and I think I know something. Many a times, students have this fake confidence that they think they know something, but actually they don't know. Now that grip will come provided we keep revising it and we keep revising it. So in essence, the first point that I would like to say is the lack of revision. I'm not saying lack of studying. I'm saying lack of revision. That's what kills, your preparation. What I mean here is people or the students used to study till the day before their exams. But till the day before their exams, they keep studying something new, fresh. It's better that they stop at some point of time and then start revising. 1 month before, 2 months before the exam, stop preparing. And then whatever we have already done, let's save it first. So I think that revision is what is missing among students. That makes even the bright students fail in the exams. Point 1. And point number 2 is the depth in which the study is required. Of course, this is not like schools. So definitely we require much more depth when we talk about preparing for CA, and we need to understand it. Understanding is the key. And if we do not understand it, we can't face, out of, context questions. So the second thing that I would like to say while preparation, at the time of preparation, is understanding. So if a student does his understanding well, if a student revises well, there is no reason why he should fail.
Got it. Very good. Thank you for those. And once students finish, as part of the course, they have to do internship. So tell us about the importance of internship and what is the best decision on internship a student should take?
Okay. About the internship. Internship is the time when a student becomes a professional. A student cannot become a professional just by passing the exams. It's not like till yesterday I was a student and today results came, and from today onwards I'm a chartered accountant. No one in a magic becomes a chartered accountant. So that conversion of personality happens during internship. So internship is something which no one can afford to miss or skip. And my advice is any student must pursue to take the topmost internship or the best known firms. People already know it. It's better that they get internship in those best known firms so that they get the best of the exposure. Having said this, it doesn't make any difference whether someone takes internship in a top firm or a medium firm or a small firm. It's all about the attitude and perception that any student has got. Whatever comes to our table, we should be able to understand the best out of it, and that spirit of learning should be there throughout the internship. When for example, if a chartered accountant clears his CA final, the first month salary that someone can expect is around 50,000-60,000. That's the industry standard right now. The reason why someone is paid 50,000 per month or 60,000 per month, just fresher, is primarily because already he's 3 years experienced. That 3 years experience happens during internship. That creates maturity, that creates ability to do the work, because companies cannot afford to hire immature children for their office purposes. And similarly, companies cannot afford to hire people who don't know what to do. So it's just not, the knowledge is not adequate. You need knowledge and you need skill. Now that skill will be developed during internship. So to answer your question, point number one, internship is a very integral part of curriculum where you really become a CA. That's point number one. And point number two, on getting into firms, any firm is a good firm. Top firms are the best always. So to get the best exposure, we need to take the best out of internship.
Thank you for that. How does one become a good financial consultant?
How does one become a good financial consultant? Now, there are many things that goes behind it. I'll share what is my view on this. The market is ever changing. First thing that we need to recognize is that the market or the people with whom we work or the companies with whom we work is ever changing. There is a lot of automation that's happening everywhere. There are systems, and the banking systems are undergoing a change. There are new methods of investments and then borrowing that has come up. There are new methods of doing business that has come up. So essentially, the businesses are undergoing a change now. So we need to recognize that fact. And as a financial consultant, we need to equip ourselves to the business requirement. I'll put it in other words. If I clear CA and if I just stay back at home and then I say that I'm going to serve clients and then I'm going to do a traditional work, 5 years, I will go extinct. So we need to constantly keep ourselves upgrading, and we need to figure out what's happening in the market. Constant learning and constant upgradation is the key to become an expert in any field, be it financial consulting or in any other field. It is required that we need to constantly upgrade ourselves. So that's the key. That's the key point that I would like to share.
Excellent. And one final question, your parting wisdom and advice for students listening to this.
Okay. Not advice and all, but just we need to, whatever we do, we need to like it. That's more important. Whatever we are doing, we need to like it. And if we like something, we do it with ease. And if we don't like it, we find it very tough. I find it very difficult to stand in a bus stop and then catch a bus and then walk for a long time and all. But I do the same thing in a gym. So when someone takes that much stress in a gym, we call it as bodybuilding. When someone takes the same stress in some other place which he doesn't like, he gets disease. So what I have at least understood is that unless otherwise we like something, we can't do well out of it. It's not becoming a CA or it's not getting a qualification that is important. It's how you get it that's important. The journey is important as equal to that of the destination. So we need to enjoy the journey. We need to really cherish every minute of we studying this. We need to enjoy we becoming a professional. And I think these are all some things which we need to carry in our mind. So we need to like, and then we need to. And if we don't know to like it, like for example, I don't know why am I doing CA, or I don't know why should I do CA, then there should be a reason behind it. Find the reason and always stick on to that reason. My reason was my parents. When I started doing CA, I don't know why am I doing CA, but my reason was parents. I want to make them happy, and that's the reason why I picked up this course. And constantly I was thinking about it. So I'm always happy doing this, or because I believe that at some point of time they'll be happy me becoming a chartered accountant. So find out one reason and stick on to that reason, and keep working harder and harder. That will yield the desired results, and you'll be happy with the results. You'll be happy with the journey also. So that's what all that I would like to share.
Fantastic. On that note, thank you so much for taking the time out from your busy schedule. And these are really words of wisdom, very useful for our students. Appreciate your time. Thank you so much, Mr. Sriram.
Thank you. Thank you very much.